Here.
Mr. Fuller?
Here.
Mr. Carnifax?
Here.
And you can show Robbie is here too. She's just not currently at the dais. All right, approval of the minutes. You guys have the minutes in your packet. If there's any additions, corrections, or whatever, let us know. Otherwise, a motion to approve would be great.
I'll make
Motion to approve?
second.
Vice Chair Stevens?
Aye.
Chair Trivett?
Aye.
Mr. Fuller?
Aye.
Mr. Carnifax?
Aye.
All right, next is board member announcements. Anybody have anything they'd like to share?
Not today. Not today.
All right, we'll move on to reports. Financial report, Ms. Dameron.
Yes, and the month of September, we received $662,000 in revenue. The biggest part of that was the city's maintenance of effort contribution, and $76,000 in interest income. We had operating expenditures of $176,000 and capital expenditures of $4.2 million. That decreased our net position by $3.7 million. Happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions for Barbara? All right, thank you, Ms. Dameron. Next is the executive director's report, and she is out at the moment, so I'm going to run through it. You all received the written report, and I'm just going to breeze through her PowerPoint and get to the part that I was going to talk about. So wasn't there a video somewhere?
It's the next.
Next, oh, okay. We've got a couple things we want to show you and then have a little bit of discussion about. So the staff, Micah, put together a great little fly-through, 3D fly-through of what the facility will look like when it's done, including the actual FF&E throughout the building, so you can actually see what it's going to look like. We're going to be using this for marketing purposes, so as Visit Williamsburg tries to recruit tournaments, as Kemper tries to recruit events and whatnot, they will use this as an asset. One of the things that we've done in the past is produce a little flyer with some QR codes. So if you're thinking about renting a room, you scan that QR code and it puts you in the space in a virtual model that you can turn around, and on your phone it's augmented reality. It's like you're standing in it. So pretty effective. So it's a pretty neat experience. Gives you a good feel for what it's going to be. It's going to be pretty impressive, I think, when it's done. Thank you, Micah. Excellent work. And then the next thing we want to show you, and you all have seen some of these concepts already, is monument sign ideas. And what we did is we asked Micah to sort of boil down a larger list of concepts into 3. So I think that they are designed to be sort of contemporary, a little more modern, and then, what's the third one? I forgot. Funky. That's the correct term? Okay, funky is the last one. The hope is that today we can give Micah some feedback so that we can move a concept a little further along. So this is the first one. This would be the more conservative sign, I think. The black space is not a digital element so that the planning department can stop sweating. This would just be the place where we would post today's activities or what have you, upcoming events. This is a slightly more modern approach to it. And the design here, as I understand it, Micah, you can come to the podium and fill in if you want, but this is made to sort of reflect the shape of the building, the roof, the slant of the roof, and the way that it's cantilevered out over some wood beams. And then the same concept down below the HTRFA logo, using sort of the wood theme and the brick from the building, is the space where we'd be able to advertise events. And then this is the funky concept. And so this is the same kind of principle. Instead of it being a solid design, you've got these slats. Each one of those slats could have an event or direction or a facility listed on it. And we can add or subtract from those as necessary. That beam on the top, we could cantilever it from the earlier design to sort of make it mirror the design of the building. So lots of different choices there in terms of what design could be. One of the things that I thought about is the fact that this may not be the only building that the HTRFA constructs out there. And so a sign that lends itself to more than the sports center is probably not a bad idea. So what's the board think of those 3 concepts? I'm happy to run them back if you want to see them.
Yeah, run them.
So there's an image of all 3. Micah thinks ahead.
So on the black area, that would be something that would then, you could physically post, welcome hoops, welcome, but not digital.
Exactly. Yeah, the city's sign ordinance doesn't allow digital signage.
And I understand that, and I know we've looked at the newer technology. It's not really an illuminated sign. They have more like the Kindle approach.
Right. And
Would they accept that?
We have approved that downtown even, so it is possible we could do that.
Because I just think that gives you so much more flexibility.
Makes it
than
a lot
just
easier.
to program it, and
That's a good idea, Brian. I've forgotten that if you went right out front of this building, in fact, is one of those examples of one of those signs. And I've forgotten what it's called, the display type, but it's e-ink is what it's called.
Yeah.
And it is designed that you can update from a master. And so that's a good idea.
So I think that's either one of the 2 with the e-ink, kind of like the middle one better, but I like the circle one as well, but it doesn't have this component, so that's a lot better.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion. It's one of those, I guess we all select one and we might select the same, or we might be in different places. I mean, I think they all sort of represent us. I struggle a little bit to know, we know what the HTRFA is, but my concern is that the right, and I guess we could decide that later. To your point, it might be more than the sports center, but for the beginning, if that signage can be put in and we have the ability to change that out, if at a later date we need to call it something else or add another feature to it. I like the larger areas to talk about what's going on because I think they stand out better, but that might be misleading. That funky design on the right might be just as good at pointing out sort of those special events or welcoming things. But for me, the HTRFA, as much as I like to see that, I just don't know that will be meaningful to visitors.
I had the exact same thought, but then I started thinking about, okay, well, what takes its place? And there isn't a good choice. You could put the Greater Williamsburg Sports and Events Center logo there, and that will work in the short term. But if we do build another building, we won't be building another monument sign.
Put Drew's house.
Yeah, right. I don't think so. So I guess food for thought on what that should be. I think the HTR, at least in the moment, it feels like the HTRFA probably is the most important placeholder. And then as you say, we can change that out at some other time if we need to. If the HTRFA builds enough stuff out there that the site itself gets a name, then that would be the right thing.
That's
We're just not there yet.
That's right.
And visitor center lacks a certain appeal. So, John, what do you think?
I think B or C would be the two. When you made the comment about future facilities, then I started leaning towards C, and I don't really understand that signage y'all were talking about that you've got, but is there a way to use that on one of those smaller,
I think so.
to welcome this group, or to be able to change it and then add future facilities there too?
Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll continue to work on option B and C and see if we can't push those further toward a selection point. So, good. Got all you need, you think? Good.
And where's that sign located that you all were talking about? You said right out front.
Yeah, there's actually a couple of them right out in front of the building. There's an e-ink sign, I think on the corner right here. If that one's not e-ink, there is definitely one on the corner by the library. Yeah. And it does do a great job. It looks like a sign. If you didn't know that it's a digital screen, you'd have to be told, I think, to know that. Okay. We'll move on to the construction report. I think I have the clicker.
Good afternoon, I'm Todd Walker. I am a construction manager for MVP on the Greater Williamsburg Sports and Events Center. We're doing a new format. We went to all slides, and we'll just read off that rather than have a different report and go through slides. This is the operator's report. Are they next?
Did I skip them?
You did.
I did skip them. I'm sorry, Todd. False start.
I'm always last.
Well, after checking out that video, I'm super excited now. Ben Hardawin, General Manager of the Greater Williamsburg Sports and Events Center. This is the interactive flyer that, if you haven't seen that. Again, kudos to Micah for working collaboratively with us to push that forward. He did an amazing job. And we're super excited about where it's going. So here to present our operator's report for the month. And this is sort of our category breakdown. So operationally, administratively, we went through a kind of a reforecasting exercise with the budget. I'm continuing to meet weekly, oftentimes more than weekly, with Dana to stay on task as far as communicating and making sure that we're hitting all of our milestones and everything that we feel is important at this stage in the development of the building. So hopefully everyone feels that that's been a beneficial addition to the team, and I think we've enjoyed working with her and kind of pushing those agendas forward. Very important meeting last week. I think we ended last month's meeting talking about Parks and Rec programming and how we can facilitate and balance that within the Greater Williamsburg Sports and Events Center to be able to serve all the needs that are required of us. This was a great meeting and a great first step to collaborate and to collect the information that we hope to bring to the facility from the various Parks and Rec municipalities. So we have a deadline to receive that information, and once we do, then we'll put it together in kind of a common calendar and see where that leaves us as far as open times for our residents and how we can balance and schedule that. So I'm excited to get that moving. I know that's been a question on a lot of people's minds. When can they use the facility and when is it available and so forth? And I think that's a major domino to fall that will allow that discussion to continue. FF&E, we finalized it, made a tweak or two, but I think we're just about there as far as our final submission of our recommendations for FF&E. And we seem to have really gotten on the map with the efforts of Visit Williamsburg and our own efforts and Kemper and so forth, because we have quite a few requests for site tours. And I have quite the wardrobe that's chalked up with drywall right now, because we have a lot of people interested in going to our facility, and we're managing that, making sure that we're prioritizing the right people. But I can tell you, every group, every person that has come through, it's been jaw-dropping for them, and they go back and a day or two later reach back out with excitement and enthusiasm, and we're really excited about that element now, to be able to show people the space, and I think it's going to move the needle quite a bit. Some business development elements. So these are groups that we are in the process of sort of negotiating and talking with from a sports and corporate standpoint, as well as a sponsorship standpoint. We work very closely with our partners at Visit Williamsburg in collaboration of what they're doing and what the conversations they're having with event right holders, and also with the superlative group in our sponsorship realm. So next week I will be in Columbus, Ohio, representing this facility and this group at the Teams Conference, where we have 40 interviews set up, one-on-one interviews with event right holders that are interested in the facility. So that's going to take it's a 3-day event, and we've partnered with Visit Williamsburg to host and be a key sponsor at our golf outing that we feel will continue to bring exposure and to allow more private conversations and social event atmosphere. So I'll report on that next month and through our operators report and let you know the results of that. So graphically, showing just kind of some of the things that have been locked in. We have a large amount that is in what I'd call the pending process of negotiation. Some of them are, you know, a few inches away from signature, deposit, and locked in events. Some of them are just on the front end of that. But per year, these are the different events that we have completely locked and booked, broken down by sport and conference setting.
But can I ask you just a
Yes, sir.
question on that? When you have a number, that's an event, but is that typically a 1-day, 2-day, 3-day? I mean, I guess it could vary, but are they mostly 2-day events, or do you have a sense of that?
Most of them are 2 to 3 day events. We do have 1 or 2 that are just a 1-day event. I think one of the things that Heidi and I have been discussing is the right way to report are things such as corporate retreats and a couple of hour meetings and things that we're still going to continue to bring in. We're getting quite a bit of interest in renting out meeting spaces for various events. So we may have a separate area that lists those types of things so that you're aware of, you know, how we're filling up the building from that standpoint.
So if you have a number, is that typically weekends still, or are they throughout the week as well, or do you have a sense of that?
Just about all of these are weekends. There's 1 or 2 that are during the week, but they're not long-term multi-day events at this point. It's a single afternoon event here, half-day event here, and that's part of the process of the Parks and Rec discussion, so that we make sure that we're honoring, you know, that commitment and serving those needs. But also, we are getting quite a bit of events and interest in multi-day events during the week. So again, we want to strike a healthy balance and make sure that we're serving the best we can. So, yep. So some proposals that we are working through right now. These are some various groups. Some of these have originated through our sources with Kemper. Some of them have originated in our collaboration with Visit Williamsburg. Most of these are multi-year types of events where they have come to see the facility and they're very excited. Gladiator Wrestling, for example, brings 10,000 people to the area. And it's a 4-day event. So very exciting to work with them. We have a proposal that is in their court right now, and we hope to have that signed and sealed by the end of the week. So. And then on the conferencing side, these are groups that we are, again, actively in discussion with and have made proposals to. And we're just waiting to finalize these and hopefully add those to the previous slide. Okay, so marketing efforts have continued to grow. We're building partnerships with Visit Williamsburg as we have from the beginning, but continuing down that path as we're talking about things like the VA 250 events and how we can be a part of that. We were instrumental in a grand opening planning committee that happened with representation from all the municipalities a few weeks ago to talk about what the grand opening festivities and how we commemorate the building opening and what that might look like. So we're moving down that path as well. Couple of things, we've added some social media channels. We've changed our email accounts from Kemper Sports, seeing the example, to represent the facility. And then the last slide, we're working to continue to boost our exposure through SEO and AEO, which is like ChatGPT and that type of stuff, so that we become, top of the list when people are looking for event facilities. This is the dashboard of our website, and so we've seen a rise in our website viewership and traffic. A lot of it is just organic, and again, that'll grow as we continue to fine-tune the SEO and AEO aspects of marketing. And then finally, I always feel it's important to share that we're making a strong investment and some intentional dialogue around what the experience will be when you come to the facility. We want it to be best in class. We want people to go back and tell all their friends, this is where you need to go. And the facility aesthetically obviously will do that, but we're going to breathe life into it. And so talking about the culture, talking about the energy and the vibe, how we greet people, the fact that we will not allow phones at the reception desk where, this is what you see when you walk up to a reception desk, but that we're attentive and working with our clients and our guests in a professional and welcoming manner. So, okay. I think that's probably the majority of it. Any questions? Anything I can answer?
Ben, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
As we book some of those, I won't call them non-traditional, but, we have basketball goals, we have volleyball goals, we have pickleball nets, things like the wrestling, for example. Have you started to source where you might get 36 wrestling mats or whatever that number would be?
Yes. So we're working through, from a back of the house standpoint, where we're going to procure I guess you'd call it add-on features of the facility. So if you want security, if you want a shuttle or a valet service or whatever, a DJ, or whatever it might be for your event, we're going to continue to work to list those things out. And wrestling mats fall well within that category. So,
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, great point. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Now for the construction report. Todd's nice and warmed up.
Again, Todd Walker with MVP, construction manager on the project. Milestone updates. So our HVAC startup, we have 20 mechanical units starting up, ongoing, estimated all started by October of 25. So we'll have a conditioned space in that facility by the end of this month. We had that on our original schedule slated for around December or January. That doesn't mean the whole building's ahead of schedule, but we have got this ahead of schedule. Obviously, we need that in order to install the floor. Owner vendors begin roughing of data in the gym from November 3rd through the 26th, and then we will start in the hub space January through February. So what that means is bringing all our low voltage security cameras, all those vendors are in there now pulling wire. Maple flooring to install starting in December. Our turf roll installation starting January 26th, and then feature gym install also January 26th. So site work is about 55% complete. What's changed since our last report really is we've added some stones, sub-base for all the asphalt that's coming. Also for all the back concrete that leads up to the building, so pathways, walkways, stuff like that. The site guys have been on site. And we have started to backfill behind curb with topsoil. So it's changing a little bit out there, but not drastically. Building progress is about 70%. So in the hub space, we're about 90% complete with wall paint. So I don't know who's been in there recently. It's starting to take shape. Ceiling paint as well. So we added some ceiling paint in there that'll be the Tin Lizzie. They have started painting the ceiling. Next Level Parks is under contract with MEB. So obviously we all know who Next Level Parks is. We finally have that contract. MEB has that contract with them. Sports courts, so the PEMB total complete is around 50%. So we have hung all the basketball and volleyball equipment. So if you have not been in the facility, you can walk in there and it's all hanging from the ceiling.
Who's made the first shot?
I haven't seen a basketball in there yet.
Okay, just checking.
Morgan, can you bring a basketball? Or Robbie, please. Installing scoreboards this week. We've started installing permanent lighting in the PEMB, and we continue installing first and second floor, obviously mezzanine HVAC duct. So that's ongoing. So our regular meetings, so we continue our regularly scheduled OAC bi-weekly meetings. Our next one is tomorrow. Our additional meetings are opposite weeks of that with Kemper and the executive director to coordinate any operator issues that we need to. So we have those every other week. Yeah, it's been a minute. And that next meeting is on October 16th. So you can see the overhang from the entrance of the facility, all that longboard, all that aluminum longboard is complete. So when you walk out there, it's starting to really take that final look. We obviously have the metal wrap at the roof edge that we need to do, but that longboard really looks sharp. It'll give you an idea looking all the way down the building. They've completed some of those pop-ups and we're actually working on the balcony now. This is a look from inside where all the equipment's hanging. Meredith got fancy on me. So you can see it's a lot going on up there. The basketball hoops, if you don't know, are adjustable from 8 to 10 feet. So this is looking from south to north in the hub space. You can see all the wall paint is going on and the ceiling paint in the bottom right. So underneath the mezzanine, you can see we're putting up round duct now. They're running all that on the first and second floor. This is our large grand conference room in the back that overlooks out onto the patio. They've been working up in that area for some time now, getting that soffits built, drywall up. That is me. Any questions?
They're installing the maple floor. Putting it down and then coming back after the turf.
I can find that out. I didn't see that on the schedule, but yeah, I'll find that out for you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Todd. Appreciate it. Legal report. Sands?
Thank you. Not much to report, Mr. Chairman. We're working on a bunch of agreements and contracts with Todd and Meredith and Dana. We'll report back when they come to conclusion.
Great. I think we're going to talk about some of them in closed session. Any questions for legal? All right. That brings us to open forum. If there's anybody in the audience who would like to come forward and address the board, please stand at the mic, give us your name and address, keep your comments to 5 minutes. Nobody running ahead. So we'll move on to closed session. Ready?
I am.
We've got a nice little break, so.
I have had, and this one's a short one too, so we'll see. So I move that the Board of the Historic Triangle Recreation Facilities Authority convene a closed meeting pursuant to VA Code Section 2.2-3711A6, discussion or consideration of the investment of public funds where competition or bargaining is involved, where if made public initially, the financial interest of the authority would be adversely affected. And we're talking about funding for the completion of the sports facility and demolition options.
Second?
Thank you.
Ms. Hutton?
Aye.
Vice Chair Stevens?
Aye.
Chair Trivett?
Aye.
Mr. Fuller?
Aye.
Mr. Carnifax?
Aye.
Okay, the board will recess the closed session and come back out shortly.
Authority reconvene an open meeting.
Ms. Hutton?
Aye.
Vice Chair Stevens?
Aye.
Chair Trivett?
Aye.
Mr. Fuller?
Aye.
Mr. Carnifax?
Second motion, Mr. Chair, I hereby move that each member certify that, to the best of their knowledge, only the public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements by the Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the board.
Second?
Ms. Hutton?
Aye.
Vice Chair Stevens?
Aye.
Chair Trivett?
Aye.
Mr. Fuller?
Aye.
Mr. Carnifax?
Aye.
Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot where I was for a minute. The only other item on our agenda today is adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
Ms. Hutton?
Aye.
Vice Chair Stevens?
Aye.
Chair Trivett?
Aye,
Mr. Fuller? Mr. Carnifax?
Aye.
we are adjourned.